Allow me to respond to that. I think your point is well made. I think what we need to be looking at is it's an entire environment, and it's an environment that sort of feeds a little bit on itself from what I've seen. And again, I think what we're seeing, and again, it's not to say that there wasn't entrepreneurship before, but I think what we're seeing now is it's actually all starting to come together. It's going to be slow. Again, you can't have one without the other, but you need obviously mentorship, you need financing, and then media. Once they start understanding that there is a story there, they will eventually latch onto it. And you're seeing it. I think through the work that Endeavor is doing, they are providing a lot of that. But we're not the only ones. There are incubators, for example, Flat 6 Labs. I would encourage everybody to go check out one of their demo days. They do really, fantastic. It's a fantastic forum where they bring, a lot of technology entrepreneurs to present their ideas to a forum that includes potential investors, and then allow for those two sides to come together. I think it's still early stage. Again, across the board. We still don't have a very deep sort of VC angel investor culture, which is obviously sort of key. I think people still, there's a long way to go until we build the entire sort of infrastructure. But I think we're starting. We are getting there. Dr. Sharif, at the American University in Cairo, they've taken a big initiative in that direction with some of their programs. So it's about, I think as you build, one side of it, as the entrepreneurs sort of start to emerge, they will get the resources by natural sort of progression of the system sort of feeding on itself, and I think it creates a virtuous circle. But it will take time. Again, these things aren't created. This environment isn't created overnight. But I think we're starting to see some of it, and with the outcome with gentlemen like Mohamed and Ahmed. So
I think the point about media is extremely relevant, yes. Though, because I completely agree with you, Ahmed. I think really over the past 3 years, the entrepreneurial environment in Egypt has been very much changing. And there are more angel networks, there are more incubators, support groups, whether it's Endeavor or Flat 6 Labs or universities such as AUC starting an entrepreneurship center. Yet that story that is building up is not yet making its way into the general discussion and the general media. And that certainly needs to happen. And I know we have in this audience a number of people, journalists, writers, analysts, and hopefully they and others can help get that story out, because something is happening here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Amber Vruchten. I'm a social responsibility manager at Egyptian Refining Company. We are in the process of preparing for construction, so we're at the beginning. I would like to share some of my thoughts and experiences of my work, and it's all boiling down to inclusiveness. What we are trying to do is, first of all, we're trying to set up to build the oil refinery based on international environmental and social standards, which means that we will have to respect workers' rights and working conditions, but also try to create local economic linkages in the communities that are surrounding the construction site. And I heard the gentleman from the company mentioning something about labor problems with your workers. And as Mr. Mahajan mentioned how important inclusiveness is in a country, I think it's also very important to be inclusive towards your workers, because I know that a lot of labor unrest in present-day Egypt is maybe going overboard because people have found their voices, and when you have been quiet for 30 years, you may tend to go overboard. But it's up to us to discern between legitimate and illegitimate concerns and requests. So I would just like to know how the panel feels about being more inclusive towards the most important resource of any business or entrepreneur, namely its workforce, and also how to, that's another aspect, how to share successful experiences such as your own with the small and medium enterprises that are in Egypt. We as a project are trying to stimulate local sourcing from and establishing a local supplier base for our project, but it's not easy because all the SMEs that are around our project in the communities, they don't have the skills, they don't have the managerial, the administrative skills. If we include them in the bids, they're overpricing because they don't have a clue of how to price and they lose out in the bid. So, you know, what I want to get at is inclusiveness, both in terms of your workforce and in terms of sharing experiences with the budding enterprises in this country.
So for the human power in your work, when they strike, you can't always do everything they want. You can't obey everything. Okay, you can do them. You can do some things or make a race plan or something, but you never. You can't do everything they want because they will every time they will say we want more. So you have to manage it. Manage it how? It depends on your business, and it depends on the category of your employees. Every category differs because we have like low and medium, and the low are the most difficult. You have to talk to them their way, and you have to convince them with their way, but with your idea. It's like you have to be in the situation to make it. And on the other part, on helping other entrepreneurs, that own small businesses, we're participating in a program with the Endeavor. Called Mashaweer. We're helping 100 entrepreneurs to grow their business. So as persons, and I think as for Endeavor, we're trying to help those people and with everything possible.
Do you have any workplace dialogue going on proactively with your workers? Do you have any dialogue with your workers? Yeah, I mean, not after they're.
Another way to put it, Ahmed, do you wait until the people who work for you come and complain, or do you actually?
Of course, the first time they complain, of course. After like 6 months ago.
We have a dialogue with our workers, and we knew like we have 2 or 3 workers that were making the problems, and when we obeyed what they want and we gave them what they want, we fired 2 or 3 people. And because we have the largest salary in this market now, our salary is more than McDonald's, more than any courier, DHL, we have the largest salary. But the problem that he make the order for the A-class individuals. So he go and buy a bracelet with like 1,000 pounds. So he say, how come the people are buying with this money that thing, and I'm taking all the month. Our driver, he take a salary 1,250 pounds, and with tips he can like make like 3,000 pounds per month. And that's a lot in Egypt.
I know, yeah.
That's a lot, and they come and they complain. And we have a problem in the education. And for the last 30 years, there was no education.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you like people are bad or good. We have a problem. They are not educated. It's very hard to them to see if they are making good money. They feel they can make more. So we have to work with this. This is our company until you can change them. You can change the education. You can when we give them, like when we told them we'll give you profit shares, but you have to wait. You have to wait that the company can be stable and the company can go can move. That's the problem. They don't want to wait for the change. And this problem in Egypt, everyone's not waiting for the change. I'm not saying that the politician part is good, but in my point of view, everything in the politician was bad. The government is now bad, and the people are saying no. They're not. They as opposition. They're not going to say it in a good way. Everyone, they are fighting, and they're all not doing for the country and for the people. The people have to eat. The people have the economy. Everyone now they're fighting for a thing. They want to rule and nothing.
My question to Mr. Vijay. Thank you so much for coming. It's our pleasure having you here. You know how's the politics situation right now in Egypt? How do you think the link between politics situation and entrepreneur? If there is a link, if there is an effect of that or not?
So the link between the political situation, politics, and entrepreneurship and realizing entrepreneurship potential.
Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Great question.
First, let me say I'm not a politician. I have zero interest in politics, to be honest with you. I do have a lot of interest in entrepreneurship. The reason, then I'll come back to the question also. The reason is that my father was a small businessman. And he got married when he was 16, my mother was 13. Before they knew, they had 6 children. And this was the time, I come from a state, northern part of India called Jammu and Kashmir, which was a very tough state. The Britishers are there. So my father talked to my mother, we're having too many children, we have to solve our problem. So finally my father said, you know, when the Britishers are no Britishers, politics are no politics, people have to get married. Okay. Then we have winter, which is very severe in Jammu and Kashmir. So he says people also need clothes during the winter time. Sanatika, that was it. So he decided to become a wholesaler dealer. At that time in India, they used to get all the fabrics in Mumbai and Kanpur. So he would go there twice a year for the winter and the summer. Then he figured out that all the shopkeepers in the small villages did not have any money. So he would give them credit. Then he figured out that these guys come to the town where we were living, which was only 80,000. When they come there, they don't have a place to stay. There are no hotels. So he would bring them home to have dinner with us, and my mother would scream. What I'm trying to tell you is that politics are no politics. An entrepreneur always figures out a way to meet that demand. So what you really need to do there is think like these guys. I mean, who would have thought that somebody can start a service where they're sending somebody to go to a graveyard to sprinkle water on somebody who died 60 years ago? So move away from the politics. Think about 350 million people, and I can assure you, you would find a need where some other entrepreneurs would figure out how to make money from the graveyard. Let's not talk about the politics. Let's talk about how the entrepreneurs all over the world are creating companies. So that would be my message to you. Let's not have a discussion with the politics. That's in the coffee shops. That's when you're smoking a cigarette. Here, let's talk about these heroes. Exactly. And how these heroes are creating opportunities. Yes. And they are not only heroes in Egypt. You will find that every Arab world country, all the way from Mauritania, people who bring used cars and make money on those. They are bringing used clothes and making money on those. Let's talk about a person in Morocco who tried to convince me that despite the fact he makes wine, he's still a damn good Muslim. I said, why? Because I want to serve people like you. I want 9 million of you to come, and I'll give you the best wine. And I got up and I gave him a big hug. Let's talk about those stories. Thank you.